again, they changed my voice. Adjust the volume to help address the background noise because they're fuming so hard inside and making so much noise. I had to come outside. This video is about explaining the parable of the sower. Okay, so Matthew 13, verse 1. That same day Jesus went out of the house and sat by the lake. Such large crowds gathered around him that he got into a boat and sat in it, while all the people stood on the shore. Then he told them many things in parables. So he sat in it while the people stood on the shore. Then he told them many things in parables. Okay, now, before we continue here, it's important that you understand the true purpose of a parable. A parable is a story to fuck with your head so that people can get you in a certain state of mind so they can trick people into doing things, and their main goal is sex. I kid you not, it's right there in the wordplay. Here's some of the wordplay for the word parable. Ball, B-A-L, okay, which is meant to be ball, B-A-A-L, okay. So you can also get lab. Ball rapes and lab rapes. Rape A bless. In other words, rape alpha bless. They want me to bless it by going along with it. They want you to bless it by going along with it. Rape alpha be less, right? Bless be less. They want me to be less as a form of blessing it. They want me to pretend that they're superior. They want me to join them in their idolatry, whatever, right? Baal is a false idol. So rape alpha be less, not a coincidence. Ball spar E. Remember, E is for effeminate, sissy, pansy, right? Emasculate, okay? Dorky, geeky, right? Geeking, right? G-king, geeking, right? And so on and so forth, right? So all these words that about, sloppy, silly, crazy, loony, nutty, the E words, as opposed to a serious martial artist trying to be on point. And when you try to do that in 2022, they sabotage you and try to blur the line. Okay, so ball spar E, right? It's you see these clowns, right? Circus martial arts. You see Mr. Ken, Scott Atkins, Ginger. Okay, these people are joking around and not serious about martial arts. Okay, and they have some guys that they pretend are serious and they're not really serious, and that's part of the Luciferian deception. Okay, so mental sparring, right? Ball spar E, mental sparring, physical sparring, what have you. So it's a maze, right? To be amazed, right? To be captivated by some female performer, right? Demon has also been described as a skilled performer. Demon is odd men, scrambled, right? E-men, right? Silly, fatty, goofy, tiny, so on and so forth. Okay, circus, right? Circus midgets, tall weirdos, circus freaks, right? The E words, right? Daredevil, okay, evil Knievel, right? It all comes together. So then he told them many things in parables, saying, a farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. When the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no root. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still other seed fell on good soil where it produced a crop 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown. These numbers are significant. We'll get to that soon, where it shows you the 666, right? It is another way of saying 666, and it's also a way of saying other things. There's more than one interpretation. One is for theater arts, for Lucifer. One is for straight up satanic interpretation, and one is the actual interpretation. That's part of why I don't like the Bible. The Bible is there first and foremost to help the governors govern and control sexual behavior, and then finance, and then everything else. Okay. Whoever has ears, let them hear. Okay, the word ears, right? Sirah, and hear, Heba, and Hera, as they are gay, trying to get me to be their gender neutral sort of hermaphroditus, right? Hermes mixed with Aphrodite, where we get the word hermaphrodite, hermaphroditus. Okay. They're trying to get me to be their gender neutral hermaphrodite Hera, right? Her, a her, right? Alpha her. It's pathetic how sick they are. If you really look at the history of the Western history, you'll see that it's clear cut. They wore wigs and lipstick and face, and makeup, and they really were some weirdos. And that was their social order. So this is the wordplay of their social order. Okay, the scribes that work for And the scribes and sages that work for their governing class, the quote-unquote European nobility, what have you. Okay? So whoever has an ear, let them hear. Now what happens next? Listen very carefully. Some of you might be like, I'm not convinced. That wordplay doesn't mean anything. Listen very carefully. Listen very, very carefully. Matthew 13:10, right? 10 through 23 is very key. So 10, the disciples came to him and asked, why do you speak to the people in parables? Okay, so they're asking, why are you just saying it that way? Why not tell us straightforward? Why, make straight the way for the Lord? Why do you speak to the people in parables? Listen carefully what he says. 11, he replied, because the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. The knowledge, right? The tree of knowledge, the knowledge of the secrets versus the knowledge of God, right? It's not the same thing. Has been given to you, but not to them. Whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. This is why I speak to them in parables. Though seeing they do not see, though hearing they do not hear or understand. In them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. You will be ever hearing, but never understanding. You will be ever seeing, but never perceiving. For this people's heart has become calloused. They hardly hear with their ears, and they have closed their eyes. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn, and I would heal them. Now, if you're a governor who controls the distribution of the Bible, okay, if you're like the Roman Catholics in Rome, and you control who reads to some degree, not everyone read, the literacy rate, you control the distribution of the Bibles and the process of disseminating the information in the Bible. Okay? How do you interpret this? Caesar, okay, is a bad guy in the Bible. The Romans are bad guys who mocked and killed Jesus. So what was the Roman Empire and the West after them, who were in the Roman tradition, Neo-Roman tradition? What were they trying to do when they teach the Bible? They were trying to actually keep people from turning to God and being healed. So then why teach them the Bible if you're trying to prevent them from being turned and healed? And why does your Bible say that Jesus said, hey, that's acceptable? That's the prophecy of Isaiah, and we're doing this to fulfill that. God's work is to destroy the devil's work, not to fulfill some prophet's prophecy. Okay, that's not part of destroying the devil's work. Keeping people from turning to God and being healed is the devil's work. And they basically flat out told you right there in a way that's a bit confusing that Jesus, in the major interpretation of that section, is trying to prevent them from turning to God and being healed. In fact, in another part of the Bible, Jesus talks about how he has a winnowing fork, a pitchfork. Okay? So he's the root and offspring of David and the bright morning star, which can be interpreted as some theater art bitch, and Venus, who's Aphrodite, who's known as the bright morning star. And Hermes, a deity of boundaries, right? The governor and boundaries, Hermes and Mercury. Okay? And Set's planet is Mercury, the deity of boundaries. How does he confuse you? In various ways, including manipulating the boundaries, right? The law of the land. Okay? The root and offspring of liars and whores who are in a gender-neutral spirit. And in 2022, they've come out more gender-neutral than ever. That's what he says. Either, or he would turn and heal them. Because if they understand to obey God through me, he would turn and heal them. Now, in the tradition of the Bible, where they tell you, it's hidden in plain view. It's the tradition of the occult. Occult means hidden. They tell you what you should do, and they keep you from doing it by confusing you. It's kind of like a drug addict. They know they shouldn't try drugs the first time, and they get hooked. They know they should quit, and they keep going. So they tell you, stay off drugs while the government brings the drugs. This is what they do. You know them by their fruits. Okay? The way they apply the Bible is just like their politics, just like their marriages, right? It's an abomination. It's deception. It's rape by deception. Spiritual, mental, physical, you name it. 16. But blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. For truly I tell you, many prophets and righteous people long to see what you see but did not see it, and to hear what you hear but did not hear it. This is very telling, because in Matthew 5, and this is Matthew 13, mind you, he says, blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. If they were righteous people, weren't they pure in heart? If they were prophets who were right with God, weren't they pure in heart? So why didn't they see? Because he's given them the devil's tricks. Jesus plays two roles. That's why at one point in the Bible he says, why do you call me good? No one is good but God alone. Because he's doing what they said in Psalms, right? To the upright you show yourself pure. To the devious you show yourself shrewd. Okay, he's showing this people and this planet two sides of him. One that is purposely deceiving people to keep them from being healed, and another one who says things at times to get them to do the right thing. And the overall effect of this is evil, because when you mix evil with good for the purpose of evil people governing people, the majority of your fruit is evil. And then somebody who's naturally inclined to be righteous anyway says, hey, that's what I've been trying to say the whole time. And that is evil, devil, snowman, devil bullshit. And I say that because they fuel me and they caused me some brain pain just now. That is some evil Dr. Doom, Magneto, Lex Luthor, Prince Humperdinck, European governing class, neo-colonial filth bullshit. Curses on them and their families for doing it and for interfering with God's work. Even in your Bible, Jesus at times said things that were pure and true. So why do you sniveling worms who can't say anything good, because you're pure evil and the kindest words of the evil are evil, why do you prevent me from being put on a stand so people have a chance to hear the truth? You fucking cowards, you fucking sniveling, subhuman, inferior forms of life. Never forget that the most superior person that ever lived and ever will knows that you are the lowest forms of life and you're fucking pathetic offspring. Never forget that. All right, where are we here? Okay, 18. Listen then to what the parable of the sower means. 19. This is the whole world who hears the gospel but me. When anyone hears the message about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in their heart. This is the seed sown along the path. Because of your paths, you do not understand it. You're not on the Royal African Falcon, Royal African, Black African Falcon top martial arts path. Only I'm on that path, and I'll be the last one ever on that path. So you don't understand it. So what happens? The birds, like the eagle, and there's wordplay with the eagle. Okay? There's wordplay with the eagle. The eagle is a symbol of Zeus. It's a symbol of rape. When we add the letters for eagle and evil, okay, we get all kinds of stuff that gives away that they're gay, that they're evil, that they plan to seal, right? It gets sealed because of the eagles and evil. Okay? Sniveling scum without a speck of heart. The eagle was a symbol of Rome, a symbol of Babylon, a symbol of America, and America's persecuted me in the neo-Roman tradition like a bunch of Roman eagle having bitches. It's also the eagle, did I say Rome? The eagle of Rome. Some bitch-ass fucking shit. It's a symbol of being a pedo fucking pussy. I promise you that. The seed falling on rocky ground refers to someone who hears the word and at once receives it with joy. But since they have no root, they last only a short time, versus the root and offspring of David. When trouble or persecution comes because of the word, they quickly fall away. You see, they say, hey, expect the trouble, expect the persecution, and don't be like some namby-pamby, ego-promoting pussy that falls away. But then they never received it with joy in the first place because they're the children of pathetic Romans. 22. The seed falling among the thorns refers to someone who hears the word. But the worries of this life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word, making it unfruitful. So it says wealth. Stop going after wealth like bitches, because that's what bitches do. Okay? And stop letting your worries about troubles and persecution prevent you. That's some bitch-made shit. That's why it says in Revelation, outside the gates are the cowardly. But the seed falling on good soil refers to someone who hears the word and understands it. This is the one who produces a crop yielding 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown. So you get 100, right? 666, 160, right? There we get the 6, okay? And 30. So 603 sixes is one way to interpret this. So you get the interpretation that is right and the interpretation that is wrong in the same thing. It's there in the numerology.